This is exclusively a me problem.
Yep.
That I want my children's home to be here.
I've never heard it said this way. We're transitioning into her being a roommate.
I think a partial roommate, right?
Because we still got a parent.
A little
Yes.
bit there.
If we vote on that, everyone's going to say yes, and I'm going to have to start writing space songs, and I'm going to spend most of my time apologizing to people.
Yeah, we get older every day. Got more wrinkles, that's okay. Yeah, we're laughing when we age. Life is like a comedy stage. And that's why we got laugh lines.
Hey, everybody. I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Penn Holderness, and welcome to Laugh Lines. We're so glad you're here.
If you high-fived yourself after getting a full night's sleep, self five, you are home. We are your people. This is the sort of thing we celebrate in our house.
Full night of uninterrupted sleep.
Uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah.
If you are redoing your guest room to make it nicer because maybe you and your husband are going to spend more nights apart, although they are deeply in love, but want uninterrupted sleep and free from snoring,
You're in the right place.
then your name might be Kim Holderness. No.
Yeah. I'm on board with that, because I'm usually the one who gets kicked because I'm the night owl.
But I'm redoing it so that I'm like repaint and make it
but that'll help
cozy.
me too. Oh, because maybe you'll want to go over
I'll
there.
go over there.
Oh, okay.
Because right now it's just like a dumping ground of like furniture we had when we were first married.
That's true.
And so I'm going to repaint.
Yeah. We got the Peloton out of there.
We got the Peloton
Because you don't
out.
want that. Like, you're sleeping in and all of a sudden you're like sleeping in separate beds. All of a sudden you hear like a and you hear Cody like, shake them and you're like,
Oh my God.
does he or does he not say that?
Yes, he does.
Okay, sorry.
We have an amazing episode for you today. Dr. Lisa Damour is here, and she is helping us, our listeners, navigate the transition from you're parenting a high school student, you're parenting a teenager, now you're parenting a young adult, and it's a weird transition, y'all, for everybody. And she's got some amazing advice. We've already talked to her, so we're speaking to you from the future. And she had some great advice.
Yeah. So Dr. Lisa has always said, like, her main mission in life has been to help these children, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a clinician. She works with the children in that sense. The books have been about like the kids, but really she is starting to branch out. She's got a new book coming out, which you'll hear about in a bit, which will deal with the parents and how they respond to all of this. And so, I'd never heard her talk to us this way about it and help us understand it as a parent as well as she did this week. And listen, we know that a lot of you watch us because you're going through some of the same things that we are. So this is generally about parents, but it's a lot about us. Like we're actively going through this right now.
And we're going to set the scene in a second. But first, this is very important. We have to go to the laugh lines.
Laugh line. It's the part of the show where everyone will find laugh line. But you call us up and you tell us what's on your mind.
We recently put out what I thought was a very funny, silly video about how it's getting darker earlier.
Yeah, we're getting close to winter, so the days they are getting shorter. Getting farther from the stupid sun. She's about to start dealing with some seasonal affective disorder. Getting irritated by everyone.
It's funny, right? It did well.
Funny, harmless.
A lot of people watched it.
But people came for you again in the comments. If you're a loyal listener to the show, you know, a science teacher, Pam, came for Penn, and Penn has apologized about the difference between...
I wasn't really wrong.
There's a difference between revolution...
Rotation and revolution.
Okay. And people came for Penn again in the comments of this most recent video about specificity of the Earth's axis. From Linda, you might want to explain the Earth's axis tilt. From Shannon, we are actually closest to the stupid sun, she put in quotes. In January, seasons are caused by axial tilt, not proximity to the sun. Welcome to my TED Talk. It goes on. Trisha says, actually, we are closer to the sun. I'll show myself out. So there were more. There were more. Bill Nye, you are not. But here's the deal, you guys. My husband knows way too much about space. He knows so much about space, you guys. So when I see people coming for you in the comments, I'm like, babe, what's happening? Do you have a response?
Okay, so thanks, Linda and Shannon and Trisha, and I think I read like 14 other ones about this. They were referring to the line "getting farther from the stupid sun,"
right?
Because it's getting colder,
right?
Right. I am aware that we are not in apogee right now, which is orbitally the farthest that we are from the sun. Perigee is when we're the closest to the sun.
Obviously.
Apogee is when we're the farthest.
Okay.
The Earth has an oval elliptical orbit around the sun. And that doesn't affect temperatures on our planet as much as, to her point, axial tilt. Now, essentially, the Earth spins on a 23.5 degree axis, meaning that the sun is always hitting it at an angle. So there is a spot of direct sun exposure, right? And it never goes above the Tropic of Cancer or below the Tropic of Capricorn. I hope I'm not getting those backwards. If I am, they're coming for me again. But basically, that's the zone where you're getting direct sun.
Right.
And that's why the equator is like so hot,
right?
Because it's always getting direct sun or close to direct sun all the time. So I was considering being farther from the sun, how far we are from the sun's most direct point of contact.
Okay.
Because right now the sun's most
within
direct.
the tilt.
Yes. Tomorrow, like very soon, like this is December 16th, right? In 5 days or so, the sun is going to be hitting directly on the Tropic of Capricorn, which is the farthest from us, right? So the sun's direct exposure is farther from us.
Okay.
I didn't have time in the song to write all that, but technically we are getting farther from the stupid sun in that sense.
How could you have said it better?
Well, here's what I did. Because I saw this coming, and for those of you, the several people who wanted to correct me, and thank you for correcting me.
Thank you.
I just wanted you to hear what this song would have sounded like if I had explained all this.
Stop it. You recorded a song.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah, we're getting close to winter, so the days they are getting shorter. Getting farther from the stupid sun, and by that I mean farther from the sun's most direct exposure, which is currently way down in the southern hemisphere. Not referring to the actual distance from Earth. Thanks to Jeff and Linda for correcting me, but do you see how explaining all of this kind of breaks up the momentum of the song? Getting irritated by everyone.
So that just would have been, I don't think the song would have been as fun.
Okay, hear me out.
Yeah. Sorry.
By the way, that's a bop.
Thank you.
Total bop.
Thank you. Just like it's a little bit longer.
It's a little longer.
Callback
What
part.
if we start a separate channel? Okay, and you have to vote and send me messages. You guys were great, by the way. Our last podcast where I said if you made it to this point, message us. You guys messaged us, and I love that for you, like for us all. What if you made a separate channel and it's like Penn's space songs?
Don't do this.
And it's just songs about like quantum physics.
Okay. But thank you. I would love doing that because I love learning about it, but I'm not going to get it all right. So it's just going to be a series of people telling me things that I got wrong because I don't have a science degree. Most of what I know about this, can we be honest, is from science fiction books, like hard science fiction, like stuff that actually makes sense and is physically possible. But if we vote on that, everyone's going to say yes. And I'm going to have to start writing space songs. And I'm going to spend most of my time apologizing to people.
Then we all learn when you apologize.
That's true. I mean, do you feel smarter or dumber than you did 10 minutes ago?
I feel super smart.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you ever. Like, seriously, can I just say, I love all the comments. I love all of them. I think
people are going to look to correct you now. So they get a new song.
I think it's already happened.
I love it.
So there you go.
Let's get to the beef of the show. Okay. Lola coming home for Thanksgiving break, which recently happened. We discovered our daughter has changed in the best way. She has told us her favorite thing about this college experience is learning how to do things herself, like having a problem and figuring it out. And you can tell, like, she is a changed person. She is more grown up. What I was not expecting is that we have also changed. Like we used to be, I mean, we still have a 15-year-old at home, and that's great. But like you and I have changed as like, we've changed now into parents of a young adult. And I don't know, I don't have the right words to describe it, but it's an evolution that is just the only way I could say it's just weird.
Yeah. So like, how would you describe, that time that she first came home?
I would say there was a little dance the first day or so because she's used to extreme independence. I will say hats off to Lola. She's like, let's talk about this. We had a talk and so good after that. But we needed to have a chat. And again, I will say it was mostly on me. Like it was exclusively a me problem with like, and I even said this to her. I'm like, I deeply apologize. The things I have in my head of like the expectations and all this, it's a me thing. You do you. I'm going to be over here figuring out why I feel weird.
And I'm glad you did that. I think you, just as a kind of a, I think a lot of this was between you and Lola. And I will say the way that you spoke to her was excellent. I thought that you dealt with it really well. I thought that you, like when you were talking directly to her, I think you were saying mostly the right things. It was interesting because then you would talk to me and I heard more probably than Lola did. So I absorbed quite a bit of that. And so, I've been trying to give advice on it and I don't know how to give advice. Like I'm doing the best I can here. So I'm super glad to have Lisa here to sort of take over for me a little bit.
This is such a critical time, I think. And if you're not at the stage of parenting yet, this will be a good pod to listen to because I know what it's like to live. Like, most of my family still lives in Florida, so I live far from home. And I know how easy it is to just when you're missing those events and you don't get to finish the conversations, like it's easier than not for things to get weird. And so I was so aware of that I just really wanted to I never want it to be weird. I want this to always feel like a safe place. Let's have let's over communicate. But still, I'm like, I have this deep fear of doing it wrong. So there were some texts and calls to Dr. Lisa Damour. And so we thought we would bring her on. She is a podcast favorite and a favorite of our family to give just some reassurance and some amazing advice. Real quick, you might hear me mention Lola's accident. What my worst nightmare was being far away and then something happening and I couldn't be there right away. And it happened. First of all, she's fine. So I guess it didn't happen. She's totally fine. But we got a text because I missed a call, which never happens. And it said, it's an emergency. I just got hit by a car. She was crossing a sidewalk. She had the walk sign. It was dark. It was like 7:00, but the sun's down and a car turned left into her. Lola hit the ground, but because she's young and has collagen and her bones are strong, she was fine. She
was telling us she was fine.
Yeah. Her back hurt and her foot hurt because, she hit the ground, but she exchanged numbers and got insurance. Other people stopped but she's like, Mom, I'm fine. I'm totally, next day I made her go to the student health center. They gave her some Mucinex because she had a cold. That was the big takeaway. So she was totally fine. But for us to get that text and then subsequent phone calls, we realized that truly there's nothing we could have done in that moment. We could have started driving, but all the flights, by 7:00 at night, we weren't going to catch a flight and we could have started driving, be there middle of the night for what,
Yeah, that's all true. And if I may just add some more context to it, it also did show me that we are in a brave new kind of uncharted world because watching your reaction to it, you were obviously concerned, right? But it didn't really hit you until the next day. So I got on the phone and I was talking to her and you were saying, it's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And, so I kind of talked to her on the walk home, which I was glad I could do something.
Yeah.
Dads, anytime we can be useful for our daughter, we're I just want to thank the Lord for giving me a chance to be useful for my daughter. But then really the next day it kind of hits you
because you processed things in real time, which is what normal people should do. In another podcast, we're going to talk about my ability to just I could be a hero in the moment. I am so good in a crisis. But the following days, I was like, holy crap. What would have happened? If she was hurt, and I started spiraling then and but anyway, we're fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
And maybe that's not relevant to this, but it was to the talk we're about to have. But I think that was another moment where I was like, boy, I would love to have Dr. Lisa on to chat. Dr. Lisa Damour is a psychologist, best-selling author, and one of the world's most trusted voices when it comes to understanding kids and teens. She's written 3 New York Times best-selling books, Untangled, Under Pressure, and The Emotional Lives of Teenagers. And her work's appeared everywhere, from the New York Times to the Atlantic to the Wall Street Journal. She's been on the Today Show, CBS News, and
most importantly,
she is a regular on our podcast, and we love her. She's also the co-host of the Ask Lisa podcast, which we got to go on, where she tackles real questions from parents with practical, compassionate advice. And she's here today to give us some practical, compassionate advice.
Welcome to the show, our very favorite, Dr. Lisa
You
Damour.
are my favorite people.
Oh my gosh.
It's mutual. We mainly call you when we really need you. So I feel like that's where we are right now.
There's been some texting.
Kim is, it's a visual medium. Kim's gripping it's like she's going down for a landing that's going to be a little sporty.
A little bumpy, a little sporty.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Lisa, this is what you do for a living, but you've also lived this.
Yes,
okay.
I have.
So we expected that sending our kid to college, that she would change. And she has in the best possible way. She's more independent. She's doing great. I didn't expect that we would also change, so that when our child comes home, like it's a very different relationship, and it's not a bad thing. But what the actual heck is happening?
That in between space.
What is happening?
Yeah. Oh man, it's just like a constant renegotiation, right? And you're working with no roadmap.
Yeah. And I think that it feels like this like very like a little dance where we're like all trying to figure out what the choreography is. So how should we as parents be approaching this new relationship? Because there's potential for it to be amazing. How do we how do we approach this new relationship without making it weird and not being the parents that she's like, ugh, I have to go home,
Could deal with those people.
Yeah,
We'll think it through together. I just have such a vivid memory. So my older daughter is a senior in college now.
Wow.
So, we've done this a long time, and we've done a lot of back and forth and really thought it through and actually had a lot of conversations. But I remember her first winter break of freshman year, she came home. And one thing that people had prepared me for, and it was helpful, is that they're sometimes pretty aloof in that first year. And I think it's often, they're just trying to continue to establish their independence. And somebody said to me, they warm up after the first year because it's clearly established. But that first winter break, it was still, being worked out. And I came into the kitchen and she was wearing her earbuds and she was cooking. And she finally saw me and took her earbud out. And I said, "Are you in your apartment?" And she said, "Yes, I am." She put it back in. She was still exercising that independence like at my stove. It was such a fun little moment because it was like us acknowledging to each other, like, you're actually home, but you're trying to be elsewhere, but you're also home.
But I think that's something else that this is a me problem. I kept on saying to Penn, I'm like, this is exclusively a me problem.
Yep.
That I want my children's home to be here. Like, I want them to feel like this is home. But when she's like, oh, I have to, what time is your flight? She's like, yeah, I'm flying. And I heard her say, like, I'm flying home. As of like her home not being, which is like, right, you want to bloom where you're planted. You want them to feel great, right? But she's like, oh, no, I'm like, home? And she's like, no, just like, no, I know this is home, but that's where my stuff is.
Yes.
So like, again, this is a me problem. But like, how do we readjust this?
Well, but you calling it a me problem is so key because the point is none of this is personal, right? The way it goes bad is if people start making it personal.
Okay.
Like, what is it about our house that you no longer want to call it a home? Or what is it about me that you don't want to hang out as much as I want to hang out, right? As soon as you go down that road, it does not ever end well. As long as you can kind of hold that space, what you're doing of like, this is midwifing her into adult independence.
Oh.
Like, that's what you think about college, right? Like, it's kind of this perfect in between of like the bosom of your home and the big bad world. if you get to send your kid to college and they get to go, it's like a great half step.
Yeah.
But it's awkward.
It is so awkward because I think that, in my friend group and families, they have children who did not choose to go to college. But so their first step is like, they're gone. Like they are at their apartment, they're gone. They're not doing this dance of going back and forth. So how do we handle, because when, she lived here, there were curfews and expectations and chores and things you did to participate in the family dynamic. How should we be approaching that?
A lot of conversation. I think that there needs to be stuff has to be so explicit in ways that you've never done before.
Okay.
So one really good framing is she still has to be a good roommate in the same sort of ways that you would want her to extend courtesy and respect and livability with to her college roommate. That holds for you guys too.
Okay.
You can't be a bad roommate.
All right. So she wasn't a roommate when she left. She was a kid. She was a kid. She was a daughter. So we're transitioning. I've never heard it said this way. We're transitioning into her being a roommate.
I think a partial roommate, right?
Because we still got a parent.
Is a little bit there.
Yeah.
And you're still her parent, right? But I think sometimes the stuff that people struggle with when kids come home from college is actually like respectful co-living.
Right.
Right. What time are you coming and going? Are you joining? Should I make enough dinner for you? Or are you not joining us for dinner? Those kinds of things where you're trying to figure out like, where are the lines here? And so framing it as like, well, what would a respectful roommate do, right? They wouldn't leave their dishes in the sink. They wouldn't tell you they're going to be there for dinner and then not show up, right? Like, I think those kinds of framings can help give a new template for how we think about where we are now.
It's just, there's no one way to do it, is what I'm hearing. And then we just have to keep that open dialogue. Is there sort of, you do such a good job of like a script, a sentence, a thing to say, so that when we approach this, it's not off-putting and it's not, we're not accusing her of something. It's just like, hey, we're all adults here now.
I think there is. I think it's something like, we're so excited to have you home and we are feeling our way. You're feeling your way. We're feeling our way through what our relationship looks like now and what it's like to live together now. Mm-hmm. You've lived independently. Now you're home. You're not in high school anymore, but this is still our house. I think saying all of those things, I think you don't even have to have an agenda beyond just saying those things. Mm-hmm. So just as we run into, as it hits a bump, let's just problem solve it together. Let's tackle it together. Sort of anticipating, right, that you would have had a plan for what you were going to make for dinner, and then she ate all the key ingredients. Right?
It's mostly Penn, but yes.
Yeah, but that kind of thing. And so, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Or you were pretty sure she understood that her grandparents were coming over at this particular time and they were so excited to see her. And then, 20 minutes before they're showing up, her friends are pulling up in the driveway to get her.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to happen, right? I think if we frame it as like, wait for it, there will be crossed wires, there will be dropped balls. And then say, okay, this is the kind of thing we have to figure out.
Yeah.
We have to figure out how to keep this from happening again. This is a new one for us.
We're getting some good nuggets here. We're getting the crossed wires and the drop. Wait for the crossed wires. We're getting, she's more like a roommate now. Like there's some good nuggets in this.
Yeah.
I would love if we got away from us for a second and zoomed out just to your practice and to people you've talked to who have gone through this. What are some of the most common issues that you see of like readjusting to family life after college?
So, a lot of it is exacerbated by younger siblings.
Right.
A lot of it is the college kid is like, in my house, it's interesting because I've always been really, really rigid about phones being in bedrooms. Like, to me, that is like, I'm relaxed about a lot of things, but that's a bright line. Mm-hmm. So my 9th grader is not allowed to have any tech in her room. My college senior comes home, she takes her tech in her room.
Yeah.
And I'm allowing it. Like, she's had it in her room now for 4 years of college. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It just seems ridiculous. And, my 9th grader hasn't balked at this, but she certainly could, and if she did, I'd be like, well, when you come home from college, you can take your tech in your room. Like, we make different rules at different ages, right? So, but I think that those kinds of things can happen. Or like, they stay out till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Right. And are you supposed to wait up or like, I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? Right. So that piece is awkward. Or they bring home a partner.
Haven't crossed that bridge yet, but expect a text, Lisa.
Yeah. Okay. But like, where does that kid sleep?
Right.
Right. If the kid is sleeping over. Right. I mean, like, all of this is super weird and super new and different.
I think I think it just helps to know that it is weird for everybody.
Yes, it is.
I think that's helpful to know. And what I also said, because I felt it, she's become a night owl because she has later classes and she lives in a really fun city and she's getting everything done. So like no notes, right? Can't really process that. And there's a time change. So she comes home, she's sleeping later. And the first day I was like, oh, I expected high school Lola that got up at, 7 a.m. and was out the door going to, like, I have to readjust what that expectation is. And I told her, I live far from where I grew up and far from my family. And I feel like the tension happens when you don't finish the conversation. And I'm like, just promise me we finish it. Like before you get back, like, let's just make sure we're good in some way before you get back. And she's like, Mom, I'm not going to wake up any earlier. I'm exhausted. I'm like, sleep all day. But I was like, I'm just like, that's a me problem and I'm letting it go.
Did you let it go?
It was, to her, I did.
Okay.
But to you, I'm like,
oh my, okay, good. Okay, that's right. Because
That's a good distinction, though.
Sorry,
That's a good distinction.
Because I've definitely heard a lot about this while she
because
she
it's
was
just
here.
different. It's different than how our house ran before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I think about, like, I remember it was like very hard for me to get home from college. Like I had to take like a bus to a taxi to a train to a plane that had to connect through. And I always remember going home at winter break, after finals and after trying to celebrate with my friends and after trying to pack up and get gifts and whatever. And I remember having this like very clear like daydream of like hoping that there'd be some like really nice lady next to me on the plane and she'd be like, honey, you look tired. And I'd be like, oh, let me tell you what the last month has been like. And then I could just like pour myself out. And so like, I try to remember that when she's coming home. That like, I remember being really wrecked. And have you stayed in a college dorm lately? Like they're actually not like as nice as they are. They're still kind of camping in a way.
It is. It's all gross. Even the nicest ones are gross.
Yeah. And so like, I think for them, like their beds and the cleanliness and the good food and the whatever, like they are like at that point, like animal creatures who are just trying to cave and get comfort. And I do try to plug into how I felt, like that daydream I had on the plane, like just how much I wanted somebody just to be like, oh, honey, what you've been through. I mean, like finals, whatever,
but finals at the time, like finals are very, very stressful. So like, so let her hibernate. Let her hibernate. Don't smother. Don't wait at her door trying to watch Gilmore Girls. I'm just going to back up.
Great. You're doing great,
I'm
honey.
Back up.
You're doing great.
Oh, Pet.
And you can have expectations. I think there's a lot to be said for, hey, here's where we need you. We're going to be going to church at this time, or we're going to be having, friends over who are dying to see you at this time. Like, there are some parts where we need to be on your calendar. Like, can we make this work? Like, I think being very explicit about that is fair. Mm-hmm. I think saying, if you're not joining us for dinner, you need to tell us. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'm going to make enough for you. I think those kinds of things go a really long way as opposed to just making assumptions.
Okay. And then again, zooming out, thank the Lord, this is not where we are, but there are a lot of kids I've heard of that, I mean, I remember struggle that first semester. It is a doozy. I was probably in need of some professional help. Yeah. So like
academic probation.
Oh, for your first semester?
Yeah. It was my first stint. My first stint in academic probation was my first semester.
So how do you check in? What are some signs that you might need to step in and be a parent and get them some help?
So, we fully expect kids to kind of come home and be hibernating. I love that word, for a few days just to recover. Your kid. Your kid, right? If you feel like they're not bouncing back the way we would reasonably expect, right? Or they seem very low, or they don't seem excited about going back. I think, trust your gut and do say, how you doing? Is everything okay? I mean, I know, questions of whether you have access to their grades is, very individual, family to family. It's not a default. Kids have privacy in college, so, that's its own kind of complex conversation for some families. But I think the reason it's so demanding, that first semester of college, is that change equals stress, right? That is just the formula. It is, for most young people, as big a change as they've ever gone through in their lives. They give up everything that was familiar and they start all over. And so, of course, they're exhausted. But the way to think about stress is that it's like strength training. Like, it's uncomfortable and it helps you grow with adequate recovery. So if your kid has had like a doozy of a semester because they've done all this change and they come home and they sleep for 3 days and they slowly start to emerge and they are recovering with adequate rest, that's growth and development. What we don't want is what looks like an injury. You know how if you're injured from strength training, you actually don't get better fast?
Yeah.
2 or 3 days out are not going to help you get better. So if you feel like this looks like the kind of rest that would normally restore you isn't doing it, that's when you want to start to pay attention.
We did a podcast where we asked, like, what is something in your 20s that you couldn't pay you to redo? So I was shocked when so many people said, I'm so glad I'll never have to drink. Like, the drinking in college was something they just, like, they feel gross in hindsight from it because there's so much of it. Yeah.
Yeah. There is. I think kids are doing more weed now. I think it's replacing a little bit of the drinking, which I'm like not saying like, so it's solved, but it's different a little bit, but there's still plenty of drinking. But kids could also come home with tattoos or piercings or all sorts of things that you haven't seen or expected. I mean, they're 18. They're not living with us anymore.
They are 18. So how do you, what is, like, are there questions about like substance abuse and maybe excessive, and like how do you check in with somebody about that? I mean, because they can say whatever they want.
They can say whatever they want. I mean, your kid. I mean, I think you could say, like, what's the scene? Like, what's it like? Like, now that you've been there for a semester, like, what's, like, who's doing what? How, how wild is it? Does it feel unsafe? I think there's also a lot of kids who spend their first year kind of experimenting with that. And then they're like, okay.
Not for me.
Not for me. Not that great after all. I think, it's sort of in the culture, it's a little bit like, portrayed as like what it means to be in college is that you go buck wild and all that. And I think it's pretty compelling. And I remember actually, alcohol and my body are not friends. Like I feel terrible when I drink. And I remember getting to college and being like, when am I going to be like into this? And I was like, oh, I've already aged past it. I was never going to do it, but I felt kind of dorky. I felt behind. Aww. I felt sort of left out until I realized I was like, oh yeah, no, that was never going to be for me.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be great if a lot of college kids had that same realization.
Well, and
it's better now than it used to be. There's a lot more sober, curious people. And her point about weed is a good point. It's actually, like, in some ways better for your body.
Let's not say that.
I think the brain questions are as worrisome as they've ever been. And the weed they're smoking is so potent that we, like, our models.
Sure. Good example.
It's not great.
It's not great. Yeah. Like, I
said in some ways.
I wouldn't be like, yay, my kids are
switched over to weed.
None of it's a good long-term plan for binging.
Yeah.
No. But I think, what we want to see is a healthy relationship with substances, and, like, of course, none of them are 21 until later in college, but, like, we don't want it making their lives worse. We don't want it interfering with their functioning. We don't want it having them do things that they regret. Like, that's when to worry, right? Mm-hmm. You can have a relationship with substances, right? That is actually fine, if not makes your life nicer, like a great glass of wine or, enjoying that, like, fine. It's the health of the relationship. Mm-hmm. I also think, we cannot talk about substances without talking about fentanyl. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you guys did in this. I sent my kid to college with Narcan.
We did too.
Yeah.
I think that is a done deal. I think you don't even, like, blink about it. Like, I think, it's scary. It's terrifying. But thank God for Narcan, right? I mean, it's the one thing that lets us sleep at night.
Yeah. So I put that in, like, the med kits, but then I was sort of laughing. I'm like, okay, let's say she's at a party and then, like, she, like, running back to the dorm to file the open. I'm like,
no, I think all colleges should have them on every wall in a glass box. Like, to me feels Yeah.
100%. 100%. Okay. But let's leave this conversation with some hope that like this can be a really great relationship. Like transitioning from parenting teens to young adult can be amazing, right?
They get so interesting. They are interesting. You know how I feel about teenagers, right? Like, and then it just like goes up from there, right? So, I have a daughter who's like 3 years ahead of your daughter. It's so fun. She's a painter. She is an artist. As sort of a side hustle, she's actually, pursuing other things academically, but she's actually stayed with painting in college. And she was just home. And her younger sister had a birthday, and her younger sister wanted to go to, I think it's called Color Me Mine. It's like the pottery place.
Yes.
And I watched my older daughter make this like unbelievable item. Like she made a bowl that's going to look like a watermelon. I mean, it's like the skill she was bringing to it. And I was like, wow.
Where did you come from?
Yeah. Who are you? Like, I can't wait to pick up this finished piece, So that, and just, this is amazing to me. Like they grow up with friends there, right? Like I've always been obsessed with my kids' friends. Like I'm almost like the dog you have to put in the like behind the gate when the teenagers come. And now the college friends, I mean, these people are amazing and they are brilliant and wonderful. And then their high school friends also growing and developing through college. I'm like, what's going on with this person? And what's going are they going to stop by? And can I come say hi? Like, I mean, it's not just your kid who's growing, but it's like their whole cohort who are fantastic people. And then they're bringing new kids in. Like, I mean, when my kid brings a friend home from college, like, I'm really like a dog that needs to be kept behind a gate. I really get so excited.
I have to say, one of the things I was sort of mourning in August, September is like, she has this really lovely group of high school friends. Like I wasn't going to see them or hear about them through her.
Nah, you saw them.
Well, I keep in touch with their moms, and so we are seeing. But I was like, oh my God, I missed. How's Jaden doing? How's Grace doing? Tell me about everything.
We did this thing where they came over to our house the night before Thanksgiving, and like every time someone showed up, I thought someone had been murdered in our backyard because of the screaming. Yeah, exactly. What you just did right there.
I was doing that too, though. I was like, oh, you got Mia.
No, it's like the best, right? So I mean, I think it's that the thrill of them becoming. Right. And really like discovering like who they are and what they're into. And, it's just an amazing, like, they're so much better than we are. They're so much better than we ever were. I mean, they are just, it's so neat.
It is so neat. And I'm in that just seeing, and I hear you because my daughter's also just side hustle artist. And I'm like, you're a whole ass different person than I am. Like, what? That is so shocking to me that you have that skill because I can't draw a sticks person. I'm like, you are like you're a whole person.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And like I now ask her for guidance on stuff. I'm like, okay, what do you think I should do? Like I was actually working on my little piece of pottery. I'm like, do you think I should keep going? She's like, no, stop.
Stop now.
But to have, someone who's like approaching adulthood who you can actually consult meaningfully for things is a really wonderful thing.
It, like as one of the lab rats, which it's so crazy hearing you, our kind of North Star when it comes to this, like having gone through this, right? What's your dull moment, like now that you're done, that you wish you had done differently?
I have to think on that. Like we're pretty forthright with each other.
That's good.
There's the piece around like shifting plans is hard.
Okay.
Like I'm not a big shifting plans person. Like I kind of like things the way they're going to be, and so sort of adapting to like we go to the JCC here. It's like this fantastic JCC here in Cleveland, and often my college daughter would be like, yeah, I'm going with you in the morning, right? And then I would wake up and at 11:30 there'd be a text, I won't be going with you, right? Like so those kinds of things, like we grew into that kind of communication.
Okay.
As opposed to me being like, where are you? Are you coming? Are you not coming? Like, what's the deal? Yeah. Right. So I think.
Did you take it personally?
No. But I think there just were times where she had one idea about how the day was going to go and I had another idea and we didn't communicate all that well. And then I was annoyed and she was annoyed. I think that was different. The other thing, and I think, or I wish we'd done that differently, right? Like over time, we worked our way towards something good. The other thing that I also found started to be important when she was a senior in high school and has continued to be important as she's older is if I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk about or say, not trying to just catch her to do it. Because they're usually like, they're already out there, they're doing something else.
Right.
And like the sneak attack. And you could push back on this, but I think like at some point you do just say like, when is a good time, right? Like you get yourself on your kid's schedule, right? You sort of,
That's fair.
in that kind of like, good roommate quality, right? You don't like, oh, there you are. Here's the 40 things I've been thinking about, right? Like nobody wants that.
Right.
So saying like, there's some stuff we got to sort out, or I got some questions about your schedule, like is now good, or is there a time later? Like what's a good time later? Like I think taking the time to do that is worth it.
I totally agree, because first of all, if you wait for a right time, there's never a right time.
No.
You'll never sneak attack that in a good way. But then everybody's totally prepared. And to the point where, Dr. Lisa, I started when we were visiting, like we went to visit her, and then, she's been home. I came up with this, I kept it on my notes app, just a list of questions. And she has loved it. She's like, ooh, do you have more questions? Because some of them are like, in an emergency, if we weren't available, say you were hit by a car, who would you, like, who's the person you call? Like who's of your, and you get to know more about their friends. But then some of them are also like, hey, we have this thing on Wednesday. Are you coming? Like, So I just have a notes app and some fun questions, and then some just like, we need to talk business.
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
This is one I think is a fascinating one. Do you track her location at college?
This
This is a tough one.
I do not.
He does not. He does not. Okay. Her first month at college, my favorite show was watching Lola's dot move across campus. I'm like, oh, my favorite show's on. Like I had her schedule down. I knew where she's going to be.
And then also like it was their Snapchat had like a fun kind of cute emoji of her. And you were like, oh, look, she's having a cowgirl hat on or something. Like,
So then and so you talked about like, do you wait up for her? So in the very beginning, she's out in this like kind of a larger city and going out to place, like she's with a group of friends, sure. But I was very worried about her. Like, is she making it home? Mm-hmm. Not realistic for me to wait up. But that first week I was like checking her dot to make sure it got home when I would wake up at 3 a.m. And then that was me problem. And that was not serving me because I was losing sleep. So I stopped tracking her at like 4, I would say. And then now it's like, I'll wake up in the morning and be like, okay, she's in her dorm and so occasionally I would say like once I check in with her a day, like just seeing, and it's Snapchat so I can like message her, but he has no idea.
Well, hang on.
In the best possible way.
Yeah, I want to throw something out here, and this is just you don't do adults, but I'm going to give you some adults here real quick.
Great.
She's very caring and very empathetic, and she feels her daughter in ways that I don't feel, and I think that's some of the reasoning why she's doing this. But there has to be some yin and yang here. I think so. I think necessarily become more of the laissez-faire parent because she's got the other part covered. And it's not that I don't love her and care about her and want to know where she is, but I think if there's too much of that, it's going to be rough, right? And so it's not that I don't want to know what she is. There's the other part also that I do what you do, and I try to put myself back in college and remember stuff. Like my parents didn't know what I looked like for like 2 months. They didn't know where I was. They didn't know my voice. Like they may have heard my voice, but like there was no cell phone cameras and look at my outfits. Like I don't think I did laundry for the first month and I just wore the same shirts over and over again. They didn't care. And
we would not have been a match in college.
I had a friend who just would wear his underwear inside out. That was his solution to doing laundry.
Sure. Or like bathing suits. There's all kinds of ways to get around it. But like in the end, the world that we live in now, there are so many more touch points. And I don't know if that's infringing occasionally on the freedom that we should be allowing our kids when they're in college.
I think this is a little bit tough. And I feel this very deeply. I don't track my daughter. There's also a piece, college kids don't always sleep in their rooms.
100%. And
I
so
think
she doesn't have a boyfriend right now. So I'm like, I know
Yeah.
it's safe, but I totally wouldn't check after if she did get in a relationship with somebody because I don't want to know.
You don't wanna know.
You're saying on record that that you would not check.
I would not because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
No, I know that you don't want to know. I just know that you're going to check.
So I mean, like, this is right. This is a tension we sit in. I have had a hard time. So my daughter goes to college in Manhattan. So we put her on the plane.
Huge city. Yeah.
It's a huge city. And it's hard, especially when they've just been home. Like, you have them under your wing and you know they're safe and close. That I now, as I'm talking this through with you, I need to institute with you something with her where I say, once you get to your dorm room, text me just to let me know you're there, right? Because, she gets back, she's with her friends, like she moves on. So maybe somebody in my house who maybe has a name a lot like mine, maybe asks her younger daughter, who does track her sister, to just give me a quick peek to see where it's
You're tracking by proxy.
You're still tracking.
Busted.
Okay.
Yes.
But so it does. Okay, so it's shady. I know it's shady. Like, it's not good. But let me just say this. If there is the argument of like, but what if something's wrong? Like, what if something's wrong? I actually think the proxy question is not the worst question in the world, right? Okay. Because I think, sometimes roommates track each other. And so if your kid is like, stop tracking me, like stop, which would be not bananas.
Not bananas.
Not bananas. I think then a half step, and here, this is all we're talking about are half steps, is you say, if I'm not hearing from you and I am worried for your safety, who tracks you that I can reach? Like something like that, where if I have a legitimate concern about where you are and I'm not hearing from you, I need a half step.
Yeah.
I wonder about that.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because I have a girlfriend. I mean, I'm almost 50. She's in late 40s and she shares her location with all of her friends. And because she's, single and travels a ton. And it's also just fun to know where she is, and so I think with the young people with Snapchat, they share their location with everybody. So it's sort of a normal thing. But I will say what sort of my check-ins on her location have severely gone down throughout the semester. I think I am more of like a once a day. And what changed me was that accident she was in, like when she got hit, because first of all, she was fine. And second of all, there was nothing I could do.
Well, that's the thing.
There was nothing I could do.
This is when, tracking high schoolers is a whole other thing. And I'm like, well, whatever else, do not let it confuse the question of who keeps that kid safe, because there is nothing you can do. I think sometimes people, I do this for safety.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Right. And like, I do see an argument for it. And this is why I'm shady. And, you recruit my ninth grader. Like I just need to know she's safe. Right. I just need, and so coming up with a system that allows for that.
So somebody has eyes on her.
Yeah. And if you're really worried, like, is there somebody who could tell you where she is? But you have to get really worried.
Yeah. You have to get really worried.
All right. So I want to end this by saying that Dr. Lisa is superhuman. She is the example I give people all the time when they're like, what do I do when it comes to my kid? I'm like, ask Dr. Lisa. Go. She
even has a podcast.
Amazing book. Yes. She's got a podcast. She's got a really cool AI that's not like a shady AI. It actually is all of her work in one place. I'm trying to let people know where to find you in an organic way. She is the best in the world at this. So I love it when she comes onto our podcast and says she's shady AF, because I love the human side of her even more. And it's like, I think that I'm hoping people get a chance to see this and say, wow, there is an actual feeling, loving, caring, imperfect human being who is behind all of this amazing work. So thank you for joining.
Very imperfect. I just love you guys so much. Okay, so people should go to my website. Mm-hmm. And people should make good use. I am putting so much time and work, and I love doing it into all this free stuff I want people to know about. So you mentioned Rosalie, whose name came from my then 13-year-old daughter. AI-powered librarian, can answer questions 24/7.
I've very used it. I'm like, on your website,
but it's just your stuff.
It's just your stuff.
It's just based on my work only. And then she'll send you to her source materials. Like we covered it in this podcast, like she sends you there. I have the Ask Lisa podcast, comes out every week, where we take questions from listeners about raising tweens and teens. I have a newsletter. Do you guys get my newsletter?
I do.
I do. I put about 10 hours a week of work into that. Like I really,
It's really good, guys.
Work really hard on it. And what I do is I pivot off of the previous week's podcast into like a bulleted, like boom, boom, boom. Here's what you need to know on these topics. To make it really accessible, but it's like writing that I really like. It's like a good writing practice for me every week.
Yeah.
And it's free and it comes right to your inbox. So that's all there. And it's just, I just want people to use it.
Okay. And what's next on the horizon for you?
Oh, honestly, can I tell you something? Bananas that I can't believe I get to do. Like, not bananas isn't even right the word. Okay. So I've worked for UNICEF for a long time now. I create a lot of parenting content for them. And the head of global advocacy is this incredible guy named Benjamin Perks, who is the most interesting human being I've ever met. He was raised between the streets of London and an orphanage, and he has risen to become the head of global advocacy for UNICEF. I know, this guy is unbelievable. I adore him. And he has really set his mind to the idea that, UNICEF brought vaccines to the world. They helped make that happen. He is now wanting to bring prevention of childhood trauma and high quality parenting to the world.
Love this.
Yeah, that's like, he's like, this is the next thing we're doing. This is the next big initiative. He has pulled together with a huge team. He would be the first to say like, no, it's not me. It's everybody. In January, it's the inaugural Global Caregiver Summit, the inaugural Global Caregiver Summit. It is in Madrid. Ooh. It is hosted by the Queen of Spain. It has a whole bunch of ministers of state and like philanthropy. I'll send you all the stuff like civil, whatever, to come together to co-construct agreements about how countries will work to protect the early mental health and attachment relationships and safety of children. And I'm one of the keynotes.
Whoa.
It's me and Nadine Burke-Harris, who's this brilliant, fabulous pediatrician who has done incredible work on early childhood trauma prevention. And so I'm going to Spain.
That's so cool.
Is that wild?
Oh my gosh, what are you going to wear?
That's the question. That was the question. I was like, I need a skirt suit. I don't own a skirt suit. Like, so I was like, that's a major. I am picking up my skirt suit from Brooks Brothers tomorrow.
That is so cool.
I knew she was thinking about that.
No, that's all I was thinking about. I'm like, I don't know
got
what to say.
You're like, I don't even need warning. I could talk for 45 minutes. Got it. But what am I going to wear?
I don't know that. And I can't be anywhere near the Queen of Spain if I'm not in a skirt suit. So, navy blue.
Navy
I'm
blue,
trying to figure
classic.
out the shirt. Yeah.
No, I think the one you're wearing is great, but I know you'll probably want something new. No, yeah. But I love that color. It looks really good on you.
Yeah, I'll send you guys the link to it.
We're going to want your fit check right before you talk to the Queen
I'm going
of
to be
Spain,
like,
please.
all right, I'm going to wear glasses to look smart. I'm
very professional. Yeah. But also, I love that parenting is getting this priority because I think that there is, I'm not going to just throw a specific generation under the bus, but baby boomers, but they, there was this sort of like rub some dirt on it sort of. Yeah. And that's all they knew. And it's not their fault because that's what they were told. So I love that there's a priority on parenting.
Yeah. Really supporting early attachment, keeping kids safe, reducing trauma. Like, it's big stuff. It's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But governments have levers that they can pull to help bring some of these things about. So, so I have the best job in the world. I get to be with you. I get to put on a skirt suit and try to be helpful at, preventing childhood trauma worldwide. It's a big job. It's an extraordinary team. UNICEF, World Health Organization, all of these organizations have come together for this. So I'm excited about it.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you again, as always, for your time and for your friendship and for everything.
Same. Back at you.
You're the best. Love Dr. Lisa.
Yes.
I just, I've told you, I just want to have her read the phone book to me, and I'm just going to just put my headphones in and just like listen to her because like my blood pressure just comes down. This is why she needs an AI version of herself, which she has. That now, if we can just get it to talk like her, like Rosalie, if we could do that, then there's going to be a lot. Just read her articles to us. But also there'll be like ASMR freaks who will like just log on and listen to her for hours because she definitely has ASMR. Like, okay, this is my favorite part of the podcast. Ooh. Where Penn turns into a chicken nugget. That's right. I'm a chicken nugget now. We're waiting for the Nug sponsorships to come through. Still crickets. If you know anybody in the Nug game, just let us know. Guys, this is Penn's 3-piece nuggets. We don't need more than 3.
Any more than 3, I don't know if it's healthy. 3 is the perfect amount of nuggets. And this is what I tell you, the 3 nuggets that I got from our interview that I think maybe I'll take away from this.
Okay.
I'll take other things, but if I take 3 things and I look like a chicken nugget, I think it's going to really stick.
Right.
And maybe it'll stick for you guys as well.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Go.
Boy, I sure could use some ranch dip.
No, don't make her put ranch dip on you. Oh, no, Sam.
Nugget number 1, when your kid comes back from college, they become a little bit more of a roommate and a little bit less of a kid. And that is something that she heard and something went off in my head and said, yeah, you know what? She is more of a roommate. And so for that reason, you treat them like a roommate and you have expectations like a roommate.
Right.
Some common courtesy stuff. And probably just like a roommate, you start out walking on eggshells and it's going to get better and better as it goes along. Right? That happens with roommates too. Yeah. Nugget number 2, speaking of walking on eggshells, wires are going to get crossed.
And expect it.
You can't avoid it. Wait for it. And when it gets there, try to handle it with superior communication, right? Like talk about it when it happens. I even noticed at one point when you and Lola, your wires got crossed, you guys talked about it. You didn't walk on eggshells.
Easy peasy.
I think that's a great example of something that went right when she was home. Nugget number 3, celebrate the wonderful new person that you are welcoming in. I know it can seem alien and strange, but remember at the end, she's like, oh my gosh, she's so interesting. She's like a whole new interesting person.
Yes.
And celebrate and understand like how lucky you are to have that. And that will maybe keep the narrative away from like, why are they sleeping in until 11:30?
Which, by the way, isn't even like that late considering a time change of where she's coming. Yeah,
but that was part of the crossed. Like that was part of the cross wires. That was part of the realizing it's more of a roommate. And then really good. This is a bonus nugget. They hibernate. They're here to hibernate. That was such a great, sorry, it's a 4-piece nugs, guys.
4-piece nugs.
Like the way she was describing her college, I went back to it and I was like, oh yeah, when I went home, I wanted to stay in my room a ton because it was so much nicer than where I was staying.
Yeah. Dorm, even the nicest dorms are gross.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Although there is a university here in North Carolina called like High Point University.
Oh, it's a country club.
And we got like a packet in the mail and their dorm rooms looked like apartments, looked like really fancy. So I think there are people who have that, but that is not the college.
And that's I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a newly renovated or at least a newer university. And so maybe there's hope in the future that there people are going to say, yeah, we're spending
a good
this much money, like let's give them some space. So I do like that.
Yeah.
Business model.
Yeah. I want them to pay professors really well and pay for research.
Can't you do all that and just?
Yeah.
I was thinking like if they're less comfortable in their dorm room, they spend more time in the library.
Yes.
Maybe you don't want them to be comfortable in their dorm room.
So it's got to be a happy medium.
Right.
I think that's a good point though.
Yeah. I think that my dorm room that I lived in at the University of Florida was shortly after I left, they knocked it down because it was infested with black mold. So there's like let's not make it like a health issue, but it was so depressing. Just like the cinder block walls and everything. It was giving prison cell. So yeah, I did spend a lot of time out of the dorm.
We went to an alumni event for Lola's college to watch like a football game last weekend. And one of the alumnus was telling me about how they used to literally all gather in a room and hear the drawing of the lottery of where you were going.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Like you all had to sit there and wait to see what your fate was. Or maybe more like Harry Potter and the Sorting Hat, but Hunger, like it felt the way he was describing it, it felt more like the Hunger Games.
And incredibly inefficient.
Yeah.
like out of I was picturing just like
rooms. Like what
they
dorm?
would pick your name and then you got to choose. So they would pick your name and then you got, because I met somebody who had a massive room, but they took a handicap accessible room. But they got, so I'm like, there's problems in the system. Anyway, that's not how they do it now.
That's right.
But she's like, I had it was great. I had my own shower. It was, I'm like, girl, you took the wrong room.
Can we can still say handicap?
Well, it's kind of hard because if you're talking about a person, you want to say person with a disability.
Okay.
Okay.
But you can't say person with a disability accessible room.
Accessible parking instead of handicap parking.
Okay. So that is
So how could I have said a handicap accessible room differently?
I think it's just an accessible room.
An accessible room.
Let's keep this in because this is important.
No, we're
this
learning.
is happening quickly in the world.
No, we're
Okay.
learning.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have, so it's all, okay, it's about accessibility and making things more accessible to, okay, got it.
Thanks, Google.
No, but you don't say disabled.
Because what you want to do is you don't want it to be the description like disabled person. It's a person with a disability.
I like,
Because you're not defining them by their disability.
right. It's just something they've got. Okay. I love this. The more you know.
Yeah. Because I want to do the best I can. And but I want the show to be like, hey, we're trying here and we want this to work out, but like, give us some grace because this is all stuff that we said for most of our lives that's currently changing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're doing better.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, this show, and I was just say guys, because there's gals and theys and thems.
I think we say y'all.
That's what I've been pitching y'all for a long time. Southerners,
Y'all.
we get the job done.
The one time in history the South
The
has
only
been.
time we have sucked for most of it. But if we can give the world y'all, and be inclusive, first of all, a lot of Southerners will be like, we don't want to give that to you. But if we did it, maybe our report card.
Look at us. We got it still. The South still has a lot more to unravel.
Yeah.
That's a small credit on our.
The South shall rise again.
Oh, gross.
In its understanding of other people and inclusivity. That's what I meant when I said the South shall rise again. We shall rise in respectability and inclusivity.
Read our credits there, Yosemite Sam.
Laugh Lines was I think I've already done Yosemite Sam.
Well, you've done it as you could do it as your Uncle Rusty.
They're all the same thing.
No, do it.
Laugh Lines was written and produced by Penn.
This is his Uncle Rusty.
Holderness, Kim Holderness, and Anne-Marie Tapke with
This
original
is so
music by
good.
Penn Holderness. It is filmed, edited, and live produced by Sam Allen and hosted by Acast. As always, we love to hear from you. We just love it. Please write us a letter on the internet at podcast@theholdernessfamily.com. Or you can call our landline and leave us a voicemail at 323-364-3929. And we'll talk to you soon on the Laugh Lines. We love you, Penn. See you next
I cannot
time.
tell you how much this sounds like his Uncle Rusty, who makes the peanut brittle.
He does.
And he has a YouTube video about his peanut brittle. And we were like the first, second, and third views of that. And it was to hear his voice. It was so great.
Yep. All peanut brittle is made with care and love with the finest ingredients.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.